Before we do a full-blown game, I think we need to ease into this by discussing a single mechanic. And today's mechanic is the tutorial. We all know them, and most of us truly hate them, but I want to start with the history of them because you should know where something comes from before you try to change it. This is why we study history, children. This is why you study history. The mechanic of a tutorial really didn't exist for a long time in gaming. Games used to come with instruction booklets or books. And you may be saying, yeah, what a waste of time. But honestly, there's a book I still have today from a game called The Ancient Art of War at Sea. That is 121 pages long and taught me a great deal about actual ship tactics, ship lingo, and the history of ship battles from 1588 to 1941. Did you know that let the cat out of the bag may have some connection to letting the cat of nine tails out of a bag to beat a thief or sailor? Or that grog is 1 part rum and 3 parts water, and if a sailor drank too much grog, he felt groggy? Yeah, go read something, monkeys. Anyway, as time went on, the developers noticed the players didn't often want to read the pamphlets that came with the book. Even in the age of Nintendo, there were really only 2 buttons and a D-pad, so there wasn't that much to explain. Not to mention that losing or destroying the pamphlets may lead you to not being able to play the game in the future in some rare cases. But time and technology went on. Controllers became more complicated, allowing for more advanced gameplay options. The 2-button SNES controller became a 6-button controller, which became this hot mess. Regardless, with more buttons and better understanding of game design, the tutorial was created to help both the player understand the button functionality and how to learn to play the game. A truly noble goal that often ends up leading to something like this. Naturally, tutorials even nowadays are lacking in some ways. Either the tutorial doesn't exist, like most games before the 2000s. They do exist, but are super annoying.
Try doing this now. Good.
The new trend is to have a super long tutorial that goes through the entire game. Or the tutorial just never goes away. Now, before any of you monkeys tell me you saw Sequelitis where Ego Raptor talked about Mega Man X tutorial and blah blah blah, stop. Just stop. That was a 2D game that was released in 1993. 1993. Some of you weren't even born. One can only hope that we learned something in 20 years of doing tutorials. Aaron, good video. Call me, man. It's work. It's not anything creepy. So, now on to the triumph of the Dark Souls tutorial. But there's no tutorial on Dark Souls? Wrong, and stop interrupting me, it's rude. First, we'll discuss the Novice Path, Part 1. Skipping over the lore part of the video, we are told we are currently undead, which is visually jarring and obvious due to the contrast of the character creation screen. You then see a knight throw a body down and there's a glowing item on the body. If you play with the buttons, you can learn all kinds of things, but you may notice you don't have your weapons. Odds are you'll walk over to the body and get a prompt to pick up the item, which is a key. If you don't walk over to the body, you'll notice that you're trapped in a room, and eventually you'll have to get the key. But let's slow down for a second. You unconsciously learned 5 things. Something is wrong with you in your current state, as you are undead, or hollow as the game references. Characters will help you on your way through the game. Glowing white things are objects, you do not have your weapons, and you may need a key to get out of locked doors. So you're out the first door, and the first thing you may notice is that the ground is glowing orange. That isn't normal, and it wasn't there about 20 seconds ago. Walking up to it, there's a prompt to read a message. This is telling you, if you haven't figured it out yet, you can control the camera with the right stick. Oh, and there's another glowing orange message. The last one was helpful. What does this one say? Right button is attack. Note the location of the message almost begs you to hit the button right then, and you see the attack bounce off and sparks occur, indicating walls are hard and will interrupt your attack. But look at that, there's a target right there with no weapons that you can try your attack on. How convenient. Also remember, you don't have your normal weapons, so you are practicing. Another orange message. It tells you how to strong attack. And you can practice on another target. It's like someone actually thought about this. At this point, we're going to trust the orange messages. They are telling us useful things, right? Now this part is slick. You may not have noticed it because you were targeting and killing the guy, but when you get in the water, you slow down. Notice how nothing is explicitly stated, but you immediately understand it. We go up the ladder and... Part 2. We come to our first bonfire. It's really hard to miss. There's an orange glow just like the messages. It is in the middle of the courtyard, and if you read the messages, you are literally just told about them. When you light the fire, it is boldly displayed on the screen. It tells the player, hey, this is important, pay attention. If you are reading this, you may notice that the prompt changed to rest at bonfire. So you do, and the magic glow occurs. Magic! If you go exploring, you'll find a locked door which states it can't be opened from this side, so there must be another way around to it. As you explore, the rest of the courtyard is empty, and you're really only left with one option. And our friend the orange message. We run up to it, read it, and it says, as you are reading this, all hell breaks loose. A huge demon jumps down, and if you're really slick, you saw that door open in the background. And if not, well... At this point, I want to say that this is the difference between the Novice's Path and the Veteran's Path. I'm going to cover the Veteran's Path right after this. But back to where we were. And where were we? Well, we had just learned Dark Souls may throw you into situations that are not fair. There also are very large bosses. So I'm going to play like I don't know what's going to happen just to prove a point. But we come back to life at the bonfire, except with no souls. Notice how the distance from the bonfire to the boss is literally a few yards. So you can try again quickly. We nervously come back to the room and notice a green glow. It's our souls. Now we know if we can make it back to the spot where we died, we can get our souls back. The basic lesson here is, dying isn't as bad as it seems as long as you can make your way back. Having another look around the room, there's a torch, and as you get closer, the door will go up. The torch and the movement are meant to catch your eye and show you that there's a way out. Freaking mind bullets, man. Mind bullets. You find an easy escape and the door closes behind us. And welcome to Part 3. As you go down the stairs, it leads to another bonfire. Knowing if we die, we spawn there, we're going to touch it. Then we're going to visit our friend the orange message. Get our shield? Sure. Where is it? It doesn't seem to be in the room. Ah, glowing thing in the hallway. And what's that? A guy. What's he doing? Shooting arrows?
For cover, you're gonna sprinkle leak. Huh? We don't have defective cans, we have a defective person out there. He hates these cans.
I'm going to interrupt again. I really want you to pay close attention to this part, as the bowman is the most important guy in the game to a novice. He's so important that if this blows your mind, I want you to hit the like button on the video. Alright? Mind you, you can easily dodge the arrows, but in this case we're pretending to be a novice. And if we screw up, there's a bonfire right there. Again, we can reiterate very quickly. So we run to the shiny, and it's a room. And our shield. And it shows us how to equip our shield. Haha, knave! I have a shield, and your arrows have no power over me! Run, fool! And now I have a battle axe. I am the destroyer of worlds. Feel the power. Nintendo power. I'm not going to apologize for that. That felt good, right? We were given an adversary, then we were given a defense to neutralize him. He then ran, giving us a chance to get our weapon and even the odds. Then we're given another chance to fight him. You go from feeling helpless, finding your way to neutralize the attacks, and then overcoming him. These are the 3 tenets of Dark Souls, the core of the game, just given to you in gameplay. Now, remember that like button? What is this? A white light. Okay, we'll traverse it into Part 4. This next part of the game teaches us about our choices and some of the nuances of the world. At this point I have to say, The level design is so good. Watch this. If you did what I did, you'll move the camera around, you'll see a man in a jail cell that you can't get to because the door is blocked. As you go to the left, you will see our friend the orange message. But I want you to look at this picture very carefully. You are in a symmetrical hallway, and there's a gap in the middle of the wall that draws your eye to the center. In artist terms, this is called the focal point. To the slight right of the focal point is where the orange message appears. The message, that you trust, is purposely unbalancing the scene, implying that you should go this way. Notice, this is the first time in the game where you have an actual physical path you can choose, and the game is suggesting you go right. Now there's something in us that naturally makes us want to reject authority, even if we trust it. I don't know if it's our need to state independence, want to explore, or whatever, but you went left, didn't you? Don't lie. And what do we find? A shiny. Ooh, we want that. But no matter how hard you try, you cannot get it. Then we find a dead end. Lesson. If we explore, there are probably things you can see but not reach yet. So we conform and go right. And we see there is no way into the cell where the guy is. We now have two options, up and down. Down seems good, but up may lead us to the shiny. And we're hit by a boulder. Mental note. There are traps in Dark Souls that will offer little to no warning. Also, what's that? A hole in the wall. There are ways to get things that aren't obvious. So we go into the room and find the guy. Let's talk to him. Oh, he's the guy who helped us out. We should probably hear him out. I'll cover the no option in the veteran path. He gives us a quest and Estus flask. What it does? Don't know yet. Oh, and there's an orange message. Normally you would see the Estus flask here, so I'll switch to it and drink. Oh, it heals. And resting fills those back up, huh? Well, the last time we went up, we got smacked, so let's go down. With our shield up. Oh, hey, it's a shortcut. Mental note. There are shortcuts in the game. I bet we can kill that demon now that we have our shield, our axe, and his flask, but it's locked. Okay then, let's go up. Oh, there are no traps now, but there's this guy. Well, he's not so hard. We open the door, and more of our orange message friends! We can go two-hand, kick, jump attack, and resting on a bonfire revives enemies. Great! Oh, there's some more enemies, but it's okay. We're armed and ready for them. And more orange notes? Falling, huh? Well, what about these? Crit, parry, riposte, or riposte? Sure, let's try them. This final door poses a mystery to the player, as the key is not located in this area. Well, nowhere to go but through the light to Part 5. That stupid demon's down there again. Let's try this plunging attack. Whoa, half his life! We are so gonna win this! Mental note. There are final bosses and they will probably have weaknesses. And we get a key, a lot of souls, and a humanity. Out the door and our orange message friend says, "Good job!" "Thanks!" "Go straight ahead." "Sure I will, message buddy!" As you can see, the path of the novice is cleverly designed to both instruct the player on how to play the game and show a microcosm of the gameplay before they ever leave the asylum. Veteran path. You're a battle-hardened animal. You've lost a couple 100,000 souls and laughed. You're not some stupid noob who jumps off a cliff because some dumb orange message told you to. You're gonna eat this game up and spit it out for breakfast. Maybe you're trying out a new build. Or maybe you're on New Game Plus 27, but you're back at the beginning of the game. And what do you do first? Run past all the orange signs and enemies. Well, let's not cover all that. Remember when I said the paths would split at our first sighting of the Asylum demon? Let's go back there. Instead of running, let's take this ugly mother. Beating him easily provides us with the demon's hammer, which is a nice prize for a newcomer, even though we can't use it. But we don't get the key to leave. But we still need to get our stuff, and the Estus flask. So jump to the part with Oscar. Instead of saying yes, you said no. Well, he doesn't hand over the flask, and you have two options here. You can either put him out of his misery, or wait and leave for him to die naturally. In both cases, you can get the flask and the key to leave. But here's some things I want you to notice about this. You don't have to read any of the orange messages if you don't want to. I chose to fight the demon, and I was rewarded for it. I really only had to kill 2 guys to leave, and 1 if I ran past the bowman. This took less than 5 minutes to complete, and it never felt like a tutorial, which is the most important part. The key here is that the veteran player isn't railroaded into a tutorial level, it just feels like the game. There are no pop-ups, no annoying voices, cutscenes, or anything that belittles the intelligence of the player or gets in the way of gameplay. In addition to that, if you take the challenge of the demon on at the first sighting, you are rewarded for your skill. This offers all the benefits to a novice player while rewarding veteran players. Now I'm going to go even one step further and say this area is used again in the game for reasons I will not go into, but they get to use it for multiple purposes, which is a huge selling point for any developer. Which leads me to the conclusion. I don't believe Dark Souls is a perfect game, nor do I believe the tutorial covers every single aspect of the game, so don't go into the comments section saying that crap. But this tutorial respects the player of a novice or veteran skill without being annoying, which is more than I can say for most modern games. There's something in computer science when someone finds a simple solution to multiple problems, and we call that an elegant solution. Given all the examples I have provided above, Dark Souls has to be one of the most elegant solutions I have ever seen, and is currently the modern standard for tutorials in third-person action games. I just wanted to say thank you if you watched the whole video. I appreciate your time. I realize that was a lot to take in, and it took a lot of work to do, so I really do appreciate it. And I hope you have a good day.